Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with JP for the Star Wars CCG graded update in July of 2025. This is a little late to the game as of this recording. It's Monday, July 7th, so apologize for that, but not really because I was on vacation, so I'd rather be on vacation. So we're going to get this a little delayed, but that's all good. Because it's summertime, we're not doing a contest for July. We're going to enjoy some outdoor time and then get back to our cards. So JP, welcome back. Let's kick it off, of course, with our contest like we always do. So our contest this month, promos, non-set cards, right? So Jedi packs, anthologies.
I think they all fall into premiums, is what it is.
Premium cards, yeah,
premium,
exactly. Exactly, not non-standard set cards. So a moderate showing, would you say?
Yeah,
some good submissions.
Yeah, people. I mean, this is really digging deep into the collection too, because trying to find them. First of all, the promos. Some of them are super expensive. Not a lot of people have in their collections. And then the folks that grade, they send them off for grading. So you're going to see a variety of grades in this showing. So it was really good.
Yeah, it was a good showing. Let's start with our low ball. We had a clear winner on low ball. I know you did your really high card low ball thing, but that got blown out of the water by none other than Paul Hubbard, a consistent contest submitter here, with a Jedi Pack Han and the Jedi Pack Hyper Route now in PSA 4, which I believe I sold to him.
Yeah, those were the original Kyle sets. Yeah,
so that was a great low ball. Honestly, I think those cards should have graded higher, but hey, it's a good submission by Paul. Paul, for your low ball submission, you will be getting the SGC7 Darth Vader with lightsaber black border. You can't really see it here, but I will send that out to you. Maybe you can see it here, maybe not. So congrats on that win. JP, I'll hand it over to you for unique.
Yep, we had a pretty good showing. That's usually a favored category because there's all kinds of different angles you can submit with this. But we had some pretty good submissions. There was a close second, which I want to make mention for Cole Duncan. He had a PSA 6 oversized Aura Sing, which is pretty cool. And then the PSA looks like Rakik Dinek promo card. That's that little mini card that's inside the bigger card. Also very hard and hard to get above a PSA 6. There's only a couple that are like 8s. I don't think there's anything higher than an 8. So that was a good second place. But we had some discussion over Max Fox's winning submission because he had a Boba Fett from First Anthology, autographed by Jeremy Bullock, which is pretty nice all in itself. But he also submitted the 2-player Hoth Chewie autographed by Peter Mayhew. And I have a few Mayhew autographs myself, and they're not legible. A lot of his autographs are later in life, and this one is super clean. So it isn't really so-called the autographs that put him over the edge. Having that Mayhew autograph in such beautiful condition, that's super unique and super rare, in my opinion. So he wins the Luke White Border 2-player SGC 8 card that Kyle has in his possession.
That's right. So we have the Luke here, 8, right? It's whiteboard. You can't really see it because of my green screen background, but congrats on that. Max, we will send that out to you. And then top pair, we kind of ran away with this one. Jason Fox, both from the enhanced premiere set, PSA 10s of Luke Skywalker with lightsaber and Obi-Wan Kenobi with lightsaber. That is impressive. I actually have a Luke with lightsaber PSA 10. I think I was the first to get one, but then I noticed there were 2 other ones. What's tricky about the enhanced premieres is there was only one card in the front of those boxes, and it had this obnoxious white kind of card holder that had like this rounded sort of bottom that held it up so you could see it in the box. The problem with that is if you have it in the box for a long time, it gives the card this sort of up and over kind of indentation, almost like a binder burn in a different way. So when I had ripped one of the boxes, I ended up taking one of the cards and putting it in a thick book, and I closed it and left it closed for like 2 months to try and work out the the indentation. I suppose that worked, but yeah, just a little annoyance that even if you wanted to pull this out of a fresh box, you might have some problems. So impressive nonetheless. For top pair Jason Fox, you will be getting these custom Leia, Slave Leia sleeves, which are amazing, by the way. Frankly, wouldn't mind having these myself. I'm sure most would. So this is a really cool top prize and something different. I hope you enjoy that when in your deck building adventures. So congrats, Jason Fox, for that, and I will send these guys out probably later today in the mail. So no contests for July. So we're going to take a little summer break on that. I think that's fair given we didn't give anybody heads up on what some of the topics were. So allow some time for things to come back or purchase, trade, buy, whatnot. August, we're doing forest nature theme. So kind of highlighting Forest Moon Endor, Dagobah, anything related to that, forest nature. September, non-PSA and non-VGS slabs. So it cannot be a PSA or VGS slab. We're looking for the other stuff, the SGC, CGC, TAG, HGA, among lots of other random companies that are out there now. So let's see that stuff. So looking forward to those. Stay tuned for future contest updates. In winter time, we do have prize support for, as of right now, at least the next 6 months, probably. But if you have things that you are willing to support this contest in, you can reach out to me directly, and we can coordinate that. So moving on to the Facebook group, JP, fill us in what's been going on with the group.
You got it. So there's a lot of activity. We have moved up to 962 members. So we're only 38 away from the big 1,000, and I've put already 3 nice giveaways aside. I'm wanting to do 5 or 6. So I think kind of what the plan is when we hit 1,000 to celebrate is we're going to put everybody's name on the wheel and spin it and give out some really good prizes. So you'll be notified, and we'll just keep updating each month. Kind of keep you in the loop on how close we're getting, but you guys can see how many members there are, and we're creeping up. And a couple of the shows that I've done, we've picked up members right there at my table. So they said, well, what's the name of the group? And I showed them the paper, and they signed up right there. So, welcome to all the new members, and we're slowly growing every month. So
that's really exciting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to also for them Pack Ripper videos as well. Maybe we'll get something together with Board Matt and Mark, Cam, maybe myself. I have a bunch of Reflections 2 booster packs put aside. I, of course, have plenty of Japanese stuff, which my niche little area there. But I'm thinking, since I don't think any of these grading prices are going on with PSA, maybe we'll submit a whole stack off to like CGC and maybe get some freebies and giveaways from there. So some exciting stuff. Looking forward to it.
Yep. So a few more things is if you haven't seen yet, and I did post, I think last night or this morning, do watch and if you get a chance, see State of the Market 2025 Q2 video on YouTube, put out by my favorite gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Greg.
Board Matt. Board Matt,
Board, right?
BOARDMATT. Yep, check out his channel for that stuff.
And how I search for it too is I just put in market Star Wars CCG, and I think it shows all the videos but the newest one's on top all the time.
That is a must. If you don't follow anything, like follow that one. That's a
It
must.
is so detailed. I mean, each person that reports out on everything we track, how it's tracked, the new numbers, all the graphs, all the historic year over year, quarter over quarter, and some of them are even month over month. So you can kind of track and see what's actually going up, the trends. And this isn't just some values and data that's thrown together. These are all the actual numbers of all the sales. So it's a lot of information that's super beneficial to you. And everybody uses it, kind of as the base. So do see State of the Market 2025 Q2. We didn't talk a little bit before we started this stream, but there are no specials that I found for any of the grading services. PSA once again has just fallen flat for anything special for TCGs or Star Wars or anything that kind of, hey, if it's between 1990 and 2001 or something like that, they always have something interesting. But past few months, I just think they're backed up.
So. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I have a bunch of things out right now. I think I'm supposed to get them back in late September after submitting those months ago. Let's see, maybe January, February, March. So I have like 5 different orders out. We'll see what comes back at different tiers. I do have a value in there. One of them's only 2 cards, and it's like due in late September. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right. So yeah. Really demoralizing, but for the sake of my registry sets, I feel like I'm kind of bound to those with some cards, not all of them.
Same here. So I've got like 1 or 2 cards I'm dying to get a better grade than like a 6 or a 7 from PSA just for registry. And, I've run out of my own personal stuff. And if you know me, I hate buying. I hate selling as well. But I've been trying to get my hands on a couple of particular cards that they say near mint, unplayed, and they come in and there's surface wear and there's dings and chips. And, I can understand the dings and chips. Sometimes they come out of the packs that way, but I'm still kind of struggling with just a couple cards. I'm not going to reveal what yet until I can kind of get it on my own. But no specials. Keep plugging away. I mean, if you guys that was going to be my next topic is don't forget to check out the set registries. I know Kyle went ahead and posted them in the group. I put them in the featured so they'll stand out. So go through the featured and kind of see if there's any sets that meet your PC and get started on it. There's some sets that are real small, like 8 cards, 10 cards. So.
Yeah, I mean, I did submit the requests for those sets back in early September. I think it was September 2nd or 3rd. They did come back. So they are getting through them. Clearly, they're just so backed up. But, hoping and wishing it shows up isn't really going to change anything. So if you get the chance and you want to see a set on there that's not there, just submit it. And then even better, show them where they can find the complete list by providing them the link to the master list of it. So there's really no obstacle for them to put it up.
Right.
So that's what I did on mine. I provided them the links. I said, go here. This is the master list. And you can plug this in. And for like the Japanese premiere one, I was like, it's literally the same as the English, just the Japanese. Copy and paste like over.
Right.
So, like I left like those instructions in there so they don't have to do any research because doing it in another language would be a totally different lift, right? If we're a new set or something, that's a big ask. But anyways, so yeah, if there's something you want to see, submit it. Ideally, we'd love to see the entire breadth of all the master sets on there, and maybe even some more interesting combinations down the road. But yeah,
exactly. My vision as well, because there's going to be some really cool combination sets that everybody's going to want to jump into. So hopefully we'll see. Shouldn't be long if they've already posted out and published all these sets in the registry. I think we're on the right path and we're getting close. 2 more quick notes is I haven't done any shows in July. I got a couple of new grandbabies coming, so it's probably going to be late August, early September. There's a couple shows, and I'll keep you guys posted how that goes. And finally, there's been a very slow uptick in the group for autograph slabbed cards. And we're trying to slowly get our toes wet in that. Luke is tracking them. We've been using them for competitions. And so as we kind of walk through this, I don't think there's really anybody that's really tracking any of the sales, because there's a lot of Star Wars actors, model makers, and a lot of autographs floating around out there. And people are just throwing whatever they want on them. It's kind of usually the cost or more of how much it costs to get the autograph itself. But as we're going to be following the market, it's all going to be based on supply and demand, what the actual comps are. So we're tracking them, and just to let you know, we're not ignoring them. It's just a new feature for Star Wars CCG graded, now autographed graded. So, or slab. They're not, some of them just say authentic. They're not even getting graded. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think I have any Star Wars CCG autograph thing. That wasn't not on my radar, but I realized there's an entire like underground group that's like all they do. And some people have some very impressive autograph collections, which is something I kind of wish I thought of 20 years ago when more of them were alive, right? But I always like the really obscure ones, like somebody who worked on like, you know, product design or costume design, and they signed some random card. It's like super obscure, you know.
I have a lot of those, so I've got hundreds of those behind the scenes model makers. And the gal, her last name is Lauren. She did like 90% of all the creatures at Jabba's palace, and I sent her like every creature. I sent her a box as a gift and put a few out just to ask for her autograph. She signed every single one of those cards in that box and sent it back to me. I literally have every single creature in Jabba's palace with her autograph on it. Oh, so there's interesting things like that. But the most obscure is going to be like, you found Alec Guinness on his autograph. Yeah. And we have somebody in our group that has, you know, 2 or 3 of like the 5 existing Alec Guinness Star Wars CCG cards. So I know you and Luke said you'd probably want to do a stream on just my autographs one time, and it's a ton. And they're all kinds of, they're voice actors that do some of the cartoons, right. And it's all kinds of cool stuff. But we may have to reach out to this member. He's got some of the rarest of the rare, and he's got quite the collection. So
wow, yeah, that sounds amazing. Surprised we haven't done this yet, but yeah, I know Alec Guinness was so like, oh, let's, you know, Star Wars is not something I really. He just, I don't know, he just kind of like dismissed it, didn't want to be part of the fan group, thought fans were kind of nuts. Like he was just like, no, this is lowbrow stuff. Like he's just. I can only imagine how difficult that would have been to get an autograph from him. It must have been the right moment at the right time. Must have been
right.
The right mood.
The story on one of the first ones was they were actually carrying a Star Wars CCG early competition going on at a convention. And they just happened to have a few actors there on the other side of the convention signing autographs. They're like, they pulled the cards out of their decks to go have them signed. And those are the ones that are the rarest, you know. You can't find a Grand Moff Tarkin at all. I think somebody tried to fake it one time because he died like 3 months before the first production run of the premiere came out. So, but other than that, the rarest of the rare.
Oh, Peter Cushing you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Peter Cushing, right. I think Alec Guinness, he passed away in 2000, 2001. So there was a big opportunity to get a bunch, but nobody was thinking about it. So,
wow. Incredible stuff. We'll have to tap into that. Let's recalibrate back to where we're at with July. So since we're doing this recording a little late, I did want to call out 4 sales of note for the month thus far. As of right now, the tracker has everything up to yesterday. So there was a Obi-Wan Kenobi Japanese foil from Reflections 3 in a CGC 9.5 that was sold for $159. There was a Darth Maul Young Apprentice AI foil for Reflections 3 in PSA 6 that sold for $650. I think that definitely speaks to just the desire for that card, period. Like it really, like the grade is almost like not even as material. I suppose if it were a 10, it might be command different, but I think people just really want that card, and it's just really hard to pull. I know I think I only have one in my set, and I got it a long time ago, and I remember groaning about how expensive it was then. But you know, you gotta have it. You gotta have it, right?
Right.
Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight foil Reflections 2 PSA 7 sold for $275. And probably the most interesting thing on here is a sealed pack of Cloud City PSA 10 sold for $315 even. A sealed Cloud City pack, PSA 10, $315. Fascinating.
Yep, that's a fantastic price on a tough grade. A PSA 10 on any of those packs. I mean, not only are they foil, they've been through the ringer. They've been sitting in boxes since who knows when. It's just crazy that it's a perfect pack and it's encapsulated now. It's graded forever, PSA 10. So fantastic. Whoever got that.
I mean, even regardless of whether it was Star Wars CCG or frankly any other pack, to get a 10 on a booster pack itself is very difficult. Like I'm thinking of, I've seen a bunch of these before, and they're always like mid grades, like for the most part. You know, 4, 5, 6, 7s all day, a few 8s, yeah, like not bad, but like 9s, even 10, you know, 10, like geez, like
yeah.
I think that's a very interesting, and it might be the only one for a while. I don't know. We'll see. Unless somebody decides to submit a box and see what happens. But
yeah,
that's just wild. So very interesting stuff so far. And I wanted to also, as we conclude here, some other data metrics. So I figured we'd bring some more data into our conversations here. So total grading activity across the major graders like PSA, CGC, SGC, Beckett was up 25% year over year in the first half of 2025. And over 12.4 million cards were graded in this period. So for 2025 so far, the overall sort of market share breakdown is PSA 72%, CGC 17%, SGC 8%, Beckett 3%. And for TCG non-sport, PSA at 71%, CGC 25%, SGC 1%, and Beckett 3% even. So very interesting that like TCGs and non-sports are pretty much the same with PSA and Beckett, but way up for CGC and way down for SGC. When I think of SGC, I generally think of more sports, but CGC has been kind of creeping into the space with the TCG non-sport stuff. And I've been seeing more and more of their slabs, particularly in the Pokemon space.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them, and a lot of people are using them for their PC sets. So they're not commanding like the same premium as PSA, but frankly, you know, when it comes to something like a modern card like Pokemon, like CGC and Beckett, arguably, they're going to have that pristine option. You're going to get the subgrade, so you have the potential to get a gold label, you know, like, or a black label, I guess, gold pristine for CGC. So I think that's more appealing, frankly. I think it speaks more to the card. So monthly grading activity. Well, did you have any thoughts on that, or
the only thought I have on that is the CGC is definitely, I'm seeing more and more of it, is definitely an uptick on that. Their slab is one of the prettiest out there too. They're super clean. The label's nice. They present the card nice. It's not boring, and you know, if you can get, their prices are affordable. So I've said it for the past few shows, past few streams we've had, is I'm getting a pile together to send off to CGC. So I just need to pull the cord and start focusing on that. So I like CGC.
Yeah, I wanted to see what these pristine labels look like. I recently purchased 2 pristine CGC like Japanese Pokemon cards for like $20 a piece, because I wanted to see what these perfect labels like kind of look like. I want to get a feel for like, do I like this? Does this look good? But pretty interesting. All right, monthly grading activity. So let's look at June 2025 versus May 2025. So overall, it's down 14% month over month, but it's up 36% year over year. That's monthly grading activity across the board. PSA graded 1.43 million cards, which is down 13% versus May, but up 24% year over year. So that's like a big jump when it comes to what they were anticipating. I'm sure they were, from a business standpoint, probably predicting 5 to 10% growth, right? Like a standard company would. So 24% would really push their capacities, which doesn't surprise me to why they're backed up.
Right.
CGC graded for 428,000 cards, which is down 25% versus May, but up 140% year over year. Like, that's insane. SGC graded 158,000 cards, which is up 9% versus May and up 7% year over year. So pretty same there. Beckett graded 63,000 cards, up 7% versus May and up 20% year over year. It's interesting to see Beckett here as the small player.
Yeah.
Frankly, like they're the small guys. CGC has encroached in this space big time. PSA continues to dominate the overall and TCG non-sport grading market in 2025, and CGC showing really strong growth in that TCG non-sport category. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably because CGC has faster turnaround times and more affordable pricing. It's like half the price to grade CGC, and they give you like $150 credit for joining their club. So it's kind of like crazy not to, whereas PSAs, you're paying for the fee, but then you're still paying for everything, and there's really no price benefit anywhere, at least anymore.
Right. But as long as people are still using them, that's kind of that, supply and demand. You're not going to change your rates until the competition starts catching up to you, and then they may have a few things up their sleeves. But I heard at that Kansas City show, because that show was half Pokemon, of 450 tables, easily 250, 300 tables were Pokemon.
That doesn't surprise me.
The initial slam was the largest, this is to PSA, was the largest submission in PSA history of 27,000 Pokemon cards by one submitter.
That's got to be like a company or something, right?
Yeah, it was a company. So
is that GameStop? That must have been. I mean, GameStop partnered with PSA recently.
They told me what company sent those in, and it didn't register with me. I'll have to look it up, and I'm sure it's online somewhere. We can definitely look that fact up. But yeah, so that was the largest submission by one company, one person. That it was 27,000 Pokemon, and it practically shut down PSA for a week to kind of figure out how they're going to get this done. So, but they took it, and that's why we're all paying the price right now. That's a chunk of resources to get that pumped out for them. But can you imagine sending in 27,000 of anything? Pokemon, yeah. And what what it's going to be on the back end, they're going to flip it, and the revenues and profits on that's going to be stupid.
Yeah, I probably have about 700 graded cards in my collection, probably, give or take, because there's like 620 of those are PSA, but I don't know. There's a lot hanging around. But yeah, I'm pretty sure with this GameStop PSA partnership, if you don't have a PSA membership and you want to submit stuff, I even thought about it myself, because if you're doing in bulk, they're going to ship it out for you. You pay like $20 a card essentially. So it's like $1 over the price, but you're not paying the insurance shipping price. So in theory, it should be like about the same, maybe a smidge less if you navigated it. But I think I like having the control personally, so I don't think I'll do it. But I can see why other people would want to go there, because they'll do Pokemon, show up, rip it in person, and then grade it, like send it out for grading like right away. So like that's quite a for hand glove service like that they're promoting on a mass scale, that's definitely going to change things.
Mhm.
I think, let's see. So PSA graded over 6.4 million Pokemon cards in 2023, so that's got to be much higher now.
Oh yeah.
EGC graded 1.83 million TCG and non-sports cards in this first half of 2025, with Pokemon being the primary driver. TCG grading as a whole outpaced sports card grading in May of 2025. And yeah, let's see. Not much else here. It's just, I think a lot of this is driving this like Pokemon craze for the grading stuff. So I think if they're gonna do a partnership like GameStop, we're gonna see just more submittals, more backlog out of PSA, and they don't have an incentive to discount because they got the volume. I mean, 25%. Toward 24% year over year. That's massive. I mean,
and they're still in production. So there was a big scare that was like they're making a change to how many they're going to be putting out in their booster boxes, and they're doubling, tripling, or quadrupling the volume, and everyone's considering it now. The junk era of Pokemon is about to arrive. Now, I don't know how much of that is just hearsay. I'm not into the Pokemon industry or community. So, but there's supposed to be a huge increase to the volume of booster boxes going out now.
Well, they got to push back on the scalpers. Like you can't go into a Walmart or Target or the GameStop even when they tell you the launch day. Like I went into GameStop to ask a question about. I wanted to get a sense of what their grading process was and if there was any like hidden fees or if there's secret process to it. But that's really all it is. It's that, basically $20 a card, regardless, because they're doing a bulk. Like you could submit 3, cards and it'd still be at that bulk price. And they'll just email you when it comes back in, and then you go and pick it up. And they're really incentivizing, I see now, even in shows of like, you can buy sealed product, but you have to rip it in front of me, or I'm going to charge you double for the box. Really they're trying this like anti-scalping thing, right? Like if you flood the zone of junk and just more stuff, then inevitably the kids are going to get what they want, but the scalpers are going to be all bitter about it and either keep it or unload it because, which it's gotten a little out of hand. Like you see these videos of people storming stores on drop day, and it's just all adults grabbing pallets of Pokemon cards, and there's nothing left for any kid or like dad and son like going in to go pick it out.
Right.
Like what the heck? Like it's creepy. It's weird. It's really weird, Why do you do that? Like I get if you want a collector box or two, but like trying to flip it into a business, the only way that Pokemon can combat that is to flood the zone, make things not worth as much, have stuff sit on the shelves. Great, it's available, And I think that's why it's important. I think back to as we do these contest giveaways, or think of the kids, right? Like if I see kids around, like, give them packs of cards, like give them other stuff, because they're getting beaten over the head with some of these prices of these adults like coming in and swooping. All the crazy stuff, like they got no shot. And like because of that, you might have a generation of kids who'd be like, well, I never got into cards because I was always priced out of it, or all the adults grabbed it. So I never really got into it. Like, can you blame them? Like, how bad would that be? You'd be an old man with your great set and nobody wants it. You turn into a stamp collector at that point. You're obsolete.
Yep.
Which would be terrible. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but hypothetically, if you did that enough, you're going to end up with that, right? So, any parting words before we wrap this up, JP?
No. I'm glad we just focus on Star Wars CCG cards, and we dabble in other Star Wars cards, the 77 tops and some of the I think 1980 Empire Strikes Back and 83 Return of the Jedi. There's a lot of other nice Star Wars sets that are out there. So I'm glad we just focus on this and we keep the community going and keep them informed and support them, and we still get new members. So thank you to everybody out there that still enjoys this group, and we're going to take it to places that's going to be real fun. So
Yeah, good parting words here. So thank you, JP, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Kyle.